Justice is supposed to be blind, but sometimes it peaks. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation. A black woman, Dr. Evelyn Reed, stood accused of assaulting a police officer. The evidence seemed stacked against her. Two white officers, seasoned veterans of the Maplewood, New Jersey police force, swore under oath that she had lunged at them, resisting arrest during a routine traffic stop. Evelyn, a respected physician, vehemently denied the charges. It looked like a clear-cut case, another statistic in the ongoing narrative of black citizens versus law enforcement. Then, she pulled out something that changed everything. White cops lie about a black woman in court, shocked when she flashes her CIA clearance. Dr. Evelyn Reed, a brilliant and composed woman in her late 30s, stood tall despite the weight of the accusations against her. She was a respected physician at Maplewood General Hospital, known for her calm demeanor and dedication to her patients. Beneath the surface, however, Evelyn harbored a secret, one that would soon turn this seemingly straightforward case on its head. The two officers, Officer Miller and Officer Johnson, were seasoned veterans of the Maplewood Police Department. They were known for their tough-on-crime approach, particularly in the predominantly black neighborhoods of the town. The courtroom itself was a classic example of small-town justice. Wood paneling, a stern-looking judge, and a jury composed mostly of white residents. The air crackled with tension. The trial began with the prosecution's case. Officer Miller took the stand, his voice firm and unwavering. He described the traffic stop, how Evelyn's car had been weaving erratically, how she had become aggressive when he approached her vehicle. He detailed her alleged assault, claiming she had scratched him and attempted to flee. Officer Johnson corroborated his partner's account, adding details about Evelyn's belligerent behavior. The prosecution presented photos of Miller's supposed injuries, minor scratches on his arm. They painted a picture of Evelyn as an unruly and dangerous individual, playing into the stereotypes that often plague black women in the legal system. Evelyn's defense attorney, a young, sharp lawyer named Sarah Chun, countered the prosecution's narrative. She questioned the officers' accounts, highlighting inconsistencies in their testimonies. She presented dashcam footage from Evelyn's car, which, while grainy, did not clearly show Evelyn assaulting the officers. Sarah argued that the traffic stop was racially motivated, pointing out that Evelyn was the only black person in the vicinity at the time. She emphasized Evelyn's impeccable reputation as a doctor and community leader. The trial dragged on, days turning into a blur of legal jargon and conflicting testimonies. The tension in the courtroom was palpable. The predominantly white jury seemed swayed by the officer's account, their faces etched with doubt as they looked at Evelyn. Public opinion in Maplewood was divided. The black community rallied behind Evelyn, believing she was a victim of racial profiling. The white community, influenced by local news reports that amplified the officer's version of events, largely sided with the police. During a recess, Sarah Chun approached Evelyn, a look of concern on her face. "Evelyn," she whispered, "the jury, they're not buying it. We need something, anything to turn this around." Evelyn nodded, her expression grave. "I understand, Sarah. I've been hesitant, but it seems I have no choice." When the trial resumed, Sarah Chun called Evelyn to the stand. Evelyn, composed as always, recounted her version of the events. She explained how the officers had stopped her without cause, how they had been rude and dismissive from the start. She described how Officer Miller had grabbed her arm roughly, causing her to instinctively pull away. She denied ever assaulting them. Then, Sarah asked a seemingly unrelated question. "Dr. Reed, what is your affiliation with the United States government?" The prosecution objected, but the judge allowed the question. Evelyn took a deep breath. "I am," she stated calmly, "a covert operative for the Central Intelligence Agency." A collective gasp filled the courtroom. The jury members exchanged stunned glances. Officer Miller and Officer Johnson looked at each other, their faces pale. Sarah Chun then asked Evelyn to produce her credentials. Evelyn reached into her purse and pulled out a small, leather-bound card. She flipped it open, revealing a gold CIA badge and identification. The courtroom erupted in chaos. The judge banged his gavel, struggling to restore order. The revelation of Evelyn's secret life had completely changed the dynamics of the trial. The question now wasn't whether Evelyn had assaulted the officers, but why they would lie about it. What was their motive? What were they trying to hide? The courtroom buzzed with a frenetic energy, a stark contrast to the somber atmosphere that had permeated the previous days of the trial. Evelyn's revelation had dropped like a bombshell, shattering the carefully constructed narrative of the prosecution. The jury, previously swayed by the seemingly irrefutable testimony of the police officers, now looked at them with suspicion. The officers themselves, Miller and Johnson, stood frozen, their faces a mixture of shock and fear. Their carefully crafted story, the foundation of their case, had crumbled in an instant. The question on everyone's mind was, why would two respected police officers fabricate such a serious accusation against a respected doctor, a woman who, it now appeared, held a position of significant power and influence? The revelation of Evelyn's CIA affiliation sent shockwaves far beyond the courtroom. News outlets picked up the story, and it quickly became a national sensation. The narrative shifted from a simple case of police assault to a complex web of intrigue, raising questions about racial profiling, police corruption, and even government secrets. The small town of Maplewood, New Jersey, found itself at the center of a national storm. Back in the courtroom, Judge Thompson struggled to maintain order. He adjourned the trial for the day, recognizing the need to reassess the situation in light of this new information. The jury was sequestered, and the lawyers were called into the judge's chambers for a closed-door meeting. Sarah Chun, now holding a clear advantage, pressed for a dismissal of the charges. She argued that the officer's false testimony had tainted the entire proceedings and that any further trial would be a miscarriage of justice. The prosecution, reeling from the unexpected turn of events, argued for a continuation, claiming they needed time to investigate Evelyn's CIA connection and determine its relevance to the case. Outside the courthouse, the atmosphere was electric. Protesters gathered, some supporting Evelyn, others demanding justice for the police officers. The racial divide in Maplewood, previously simmering beneath the surface, now boiled over. The Black community saw Evelyn as a symbol of hope, a testament to the resilience and strength of their community. The white community, many of whom had initially sided with the police, now grappled with doubt and uncertainty. Meanwhile, Evelyn, despite the chaos surrounding her, remained remarkably composed. She knew that revealing her CIA affiliation was a gamble, but it was a gamble she had to take. She had been operating undercover for years, her true identity known only to a select few within the agency. Her mission, which she couldn't disclose, was of paramount importance, and being exposed could jeopardize everything. As the legal proceedings stalled, Evelyn received a cryptic message through a secure channel. It was a warning, a veiled threat. Your cover has been blown. They know. Retreat immediately. The message was clear. Someone within the government, or perhaps even within the CIA itself, wanted her silenced. Her decision to reveal her identity had triggered a chain of events far more dangerous than she could have anticipated. Evelyn knew she couldn't run. She had come too far, and too many people were counting on her. She decided to take matters into her own hands. Using her connections within the intelligence community, she began her own investigation, trying to uncover the truth behind the officers' lies and the forces that were working against her. Her investigation led her down a rabbit hole of corruption and deceit. She discovered that Officer Miller and Officer Johnson were not simply rogue cops. They were part of a larger network, a group of corrupt officials within the Maplewood Police Department who were involved in illegal activities, including drug trafficking and extortion. Evelyn had inadvertently stumbled upon their operation, and they had tried to silence her by framing her for assault. But the conspiracy went deeper than local police corruption. Evelyn's investigation revealed connections to powerful figures in state government, individuals who were willing to protect the corrupt cops at all costs. She realized that her decision to reveal her CIA affiliation had not only exposed her cover, but had also placed her in grave danger. One night, as Evelyn was working late in her makeshift office, sifting through documents and trying to piece together the puzzle, she heard a noise outside. She cautiously approached the window and peered out. Two men in dark suits were lurking near her car. They were not police officers. They moved with a trained precision, their faces hidden in the shadows. Evelyn knew instantly that they were not there to talk. They were there to kill her. She quickly turned off the lights and retreated into the shadows. She knew she had to escape, to disappear before they could reach her. But where could she go? Who could she trust? The lines between right and wrong, between friend and foe, had become blurred. She was alone, hunted by both the police and unknown assailants, caught in a web of conspiracy that threatened to consume her. Evelyn's heart pounded in her chest as she crept through the darkened house, the floorboards creaking beneath her feet. The two men outside were closing in, their footsteps echoing in the stillness of the night. She felt a surge of adrenaline, her CIA training kicking in. She had to think fast, to use her skills and knowledge to outmaneuver her pursuers. But this wasn't some foreign operation. This was her home, her life, and the stakes were higher than ever before. Trapped in her own home, Evelyn knew she couldn't stay there. She had to escape, to find a way to expose the conspiracy and clear her name. She grabbed a few essential items, her phone, a burner laptop, a small handgun she kept for emergencies, and slipped out the back door, melting into the night. She made her way to a safe house, a nondescript apartment in a neighboring town, known only to a handful of trusted contacts within the CIA. There, she contacted her handler, a seasoned agent named Marcus, and briefed him on the situation. Marcus was shocked by Evelyn's discovery, the depth of corruption reaching far beyond what they had anticipated. He assured her that the agency would take action, that they would not abandon one of their own. Meanwhile, back in Maplewood, the trial resumed, but the atmosphere had irrevocably changed. The prosecution's case had fallen apart, their key witnesses discredited. The defense, bolstered by Evelyn's revelations and the growing public support, pressed their advantage. Sarah Chun, with the help of Marcus and other CIA agents working behind the scenes, presented evidence of the police officers' involvement in illegal activities. They exposed the network of corruption, linking it to high-ranking officials in the state government. The courtroom became a battleground, a clash between truth and deception, justice and corruption. The jury, now fully aware of the gravity of the situation, listened intently as the evidence unfolded. The media frenzy surrounding the case intensified, with reporters from across the country descending upon Maplewood. The nation watched, captivated by the unfolding drama. The climax came when Marcus himself took the stand, testifying under oath about Evelyn's CIA affiliation and her role in uncovering the conspiracy. He revealed details of her mission, highlighting her bravery and dedication to serving her country. He painted a picture of a woman who had been wronged, a victim of a corrupt system that sought to silence her. The jury deliberated for hours, weighing the evidence, grappling with the complexities of the case. Finally, they reached a verdict. Not guilty. The courtroom erupted in cheers, the sound echoing through the halls of justice. Evelyn, watching the proceedings remotely from the safe house, felt a wave of relief wash over her. She had won. She had exposed the truth, cleared her name, and brought down a corrupt network that had plagued her community for years. But the fight wasn't over. The repercussions of the trial were far-reaching. The corrupt police officers were arrested, along with several high-ranking officials. The Maplewood Police Department underwent a complete overhaul, with new leadership and stricter accountability measures put in place. The case sparked a national conversation about racial profiling, police brutality, and the need for reform in the criminal justice system. Evelyn, hailed as a hero, emerged from hiding. She returned to her life in Maplewood, but she was no longer just a doctor. She was a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of truth and justice. She continued to serve her community, both as a physician and as an advocate for change. She knew that the fight for equality and justice was a long one, but she was determined to play her part, to make a difference in the world.